Hi students, welcome to Alpo's e-learning chemistry classes for second year. The running chapter is electrochemistry and now we are in session number 10. And in previous sessions we discussed about measuring the conductances of different electrolytes at infinite dilution. In due course we find that Debye-Huckel-Unsager equation is helpful in measuring or in calculating the conductance of strong electrolytes at infinite dilution, and it totally failed in case of weak electrolytes. And that Unsager equation is nothing but lambda m is equal to lambda naught m minus a plus b lambda naught m into root c. It is actually given equation, and now in short form we can write lambda m is equal to lambda naught m minus b root c. And dear students, here I am giving one correction. In the previous session by mistake here I wrote b lambda naught m. It is wrong, and you rectify and you correct it like this. This is the short form of Unsager equation. Are you clear? Are you correcting that one? Now just you correct it. Clear? With this formulation, which is of obeying the straight line equation, when we are substituting the experimental values in that straight line equation, we are getting some sort of straight line in case of strong electrolytes. On extra plotting technique, we are able to calculate the conductance of the strong electrolyte at infinite dilution. But that graph or that Unsager equation totally failed in case of weak electrolytes, because in case of weak electrolyte the graph, even though at certain concentration it is of obeying Unsager, all of a sudden at certain dilution it shoots up, which is of running with parallel with this conductance axis. That's why it is not creating any intersect with this conductance graph or conductance axis. That's why we fail. And now then, in case if it is not useful, that is Unsager equation is not useful in measuring the conductance of the weak electrolyte at infinite dilution, and what next? For that purpose we are adopting Kohlrausch law. Kohlrausch law. Actually, Kohlrausch law, even though we are studying for the purpose of measuring the conductance of the weak electrolyte, you remember forever, it is applicable for all types of electrolytes, not only for weak. So many students may think that when Unsager equation is confined to strong and Kohlrausch law is confined to weak, like that. But actually Unsager, no doubt at all, it is applicable only for strong electrolytes. And whereas in case of Kohlrausch law, it is applicable for both strong as well as weak electrolytes. And when we are studying Kohlrausch law, we never mention that whether it is strong or weak, just we are considering for an electrolyte. Clear? And now when we are entering into this Kohlrausch law, let me introduce one more word related to the conductance at infinite dilution. Just in previous sessions we measured that when AB is the electrolyte, when it is kept in water or any solvent, when it is undergoing 100% ionization to create its ion to maximum extent, that means in the beginning it is 0, it is 100 and these are 0, and at infinite dilution, that means when the concentration of the AB becomes 0, these two become 100, that is the maximum extent. And when it is reaching to this maximum extent ionization, the conductance at this condition is known as conductance at 0 concentration, and we think that, or we are defining that this dilution where 100% ionization takes place is nothing but infinite dilution, and thereby we are defining it as the conductance at infinite dilution. And here the third term is limiting conductance, because in some books this word is also used. So when you are coming across with this one, automatically you may confuse because in previous sessions I never mentioned this word. That's why I am giving this word. I am introducing this. Limiting conductance or conductance at infinite dilution. Conductance at infinite dilution or conductance at 0 concentration. 0 concentration, all these terms are same. And here that conductance at infinite dilution or at a limiting conductance is represented with the three words, three letters. One is lambda, capital lambda naught, or to represent the infinite dilution it is represented with lambda alpha, and here this naught represents zero concentration, alpha represents infinite dilution. And next one is lambda small letter, lambda small letter infinite. And third one is mu naught. Mu is nothing but molar conductance, or mu infinite. These are the representations. Already in previous sessions I discussed about the confusion. When they are giving the conductance with the symbols, these are related to particular terms literally. And now let me make you to recollect the terms which are related to these symbols. Actually, this is the representation for ionic conductance. Ionic conductance. And this symbol is represented to equivalent conductance. Equivalent conductance. And this symbol is represented, and it is for molar conductance. And if you recollect the previous session classes, there we mentioned that actually molar conductance and equivalent conductance, these two can be measured from the ionic conductances. And here for solving the numericals, what we have to understand from these words and these symbols, and where we may get confused. Let me explain in detail one by one, and you simply just you follow that. You follow and concentrate what is happening, how the data in the books or in the examination paper are provided, and where we may get confused, and thereby you can have a clear idea that to solve the numerical part, whatever they are giving in this, in a simple and in a speed manner. Clear? And now let me explain this. Ionic conductance is related to individual ions. Individual ions. Say for example, an electrolyte AB is taken. In this AB, A plus is having its conductance and B minus is also having its conductance. And you remember, for A the conductance is ionic conductance, and for B also it is ionic conductance. And now it is considered as ionic conductance of AB. It is meaningless because AB is not an ion. It is when they asked for ionic conductance of AB, simply you have to say that A conductance and B conductance. Clear? And in these terms, how to represent this is lambda naught A plus or lambda infinite A plus. And similarly, it is for B lambda naught B minus or lambda infinite B minus. Like that, these are the ionic conductances. And now, in case of electrolyte, when these ionic conductances are known, we can measure these equivalent conductance and molar conductances for this electrolyte. The equivalent conductance and molar conductance. And here again, one more class, that is nothing but explanation, one more clarification. This ionic conductance of individual ions, that means individual ions are having the ionic conductance. At the same time, each one is having the equivalent conductance. Each ion is having molar conductance. For this electrolyte, ionic conductance is not there. The ionic conductance of electrolyte is nothing but the individual ion conductances. We are defining the ionic conductance only with respect to individual ions. And whereas this equivalent and molar conductance are for all these. That means we can measure the equivalent conductance of the electrolyte AB, we can measure the molar conductance of AB, and that measurement can be done with the equivalent conductance of this A plus and equivalent conductance of B, or molar conductance of A, molar conductance of B. Like that, we are having all these three for ions and only these two for the electrolyte. And now first let us consider ionic conductance. What is actual meaning of ionic conductance? For any ion, the ionic conductance is nothing but V naught into F. That is, in case if it is cation, it is V naught plus into F. In case if it is anion, it is nothing but V naught minus into F. Here, what are these V plus and V naught, V minus? These are nothing but ionic mobilities. Ionic mobilities. That is ionic mobility of individual ion into Faraday or 96,500 will provide the ionic conductance of that particular ion. Are you clear with this one? Ionic conductance is nothing but ionic mobility into Faraday or 96,500. Like that we can get the individual ionic conductance. With this ionic conductance we can measure this. And how to measure this? For that measurement we are using or adapting this Kohlraasch law. When you are thorough with these terms, then only you can apply or you can follow this Kohlraasch law. If you are having any confusion, automatically you will confuse, total confusion will happen. That's why you please observe and please try to understand the total and have much grip on these terms. Clear? And now, what is Kohlraasch law statement? Let me explain it. As per Kohlraasch law, for any electrolyte, the conductance, just he stated the conductance of electrolyte is always the sum of the conductances of component ions. Again I am repeating, as per Kohlraasch law, the conductance of any electrolyte is nothing but the sum of the conductances of component ions present in that electrolyte. Clear? And now let me give this. AB is the electrolyte what we are considering. In this AB, the ions that are present are A plus and B minus. These two are the ions. And now if we would like to measure the conductance of this AB, that is lambda naught AB, then it is nothing but lambda naught A plus plus lambda naught B minus. Now if you observe, this is the conductance. And now in case if it is the conductance, whether it is molar conductance or equivalent conductance or ionic conductance, for an electrolyte we never find ionic conductance. Ionic conductance is the terms related to these two ions. Clear? And now when it is conductance, it can be either molar conductance or it can be equivalent conductance. You remember, that is Kohlraasch law is applicable to measure both molar as well as equivalent conductances. And now in case if they are giving only the conductance is the sum of the conductance ionic conductances, then by default it is nothing but the molar conductance. Let me give one example for this. Different examples. Say for example NaCl is given, and where Na plus conductance, ionic conductance, and Cl minus ionic conductances are given. And now if they ask for the conductance of the NaCl, by default it is nothing but NaCl molar conductance, and where we are just combining these Na plus and plus NaCl minus. This is the conductance, that is nothing but molar conductance. And similarly, let me give one more example. In case if it is BaCl2, here you will get the clarity, the difference. BaCl2, now we are having ionic conductance of Ba plus 2 at infinite dilution and ionic conductance of Cl minus at infinite dilution. And now if they ask for the conductance of BaCl2, when they are asking for the conductance of BaCl2, automatically by default what you have to consider, is it possible to measure the conductance of BaCl2 just by taking the conductance of Ba plus 2 and by taking conductance of Cl minus 1? Only one Cl minus, is it sufficient to measure this? No, because as per Kohlrausch law, he considered that the conductance of the electrolyte is nothing but the sum of the conductances of all the ions present in the electrolyte. Here, what are the ions? Just let us consider what are the ions that present in NaCl, that is BaCl2. BaCl2 is having one Ba plus 2 ion, barium ion, and two chloride ions. So when we are measuring the conductance of barium chloride, we have to consider the barium ionic conductance and two chloride ions conductance. Then only we will get this conductance of barium chloride. So by default, what we are taking when we are considering the conductance of the barium chloride, we are taking whatever the ions that are present in this molecule. That's why I am saying that when they asked with a simple word the conductance of the electrolyte, by default it is molar conductance. You remember forever. Clear? And now sometimes they may give the molar conductance. Literally they may calculate the molar conductance of barium chloride, or simply sometimes to make you to confuse, they may calculate the conductance of barium chloride solution with these two ionic conductances. That's why. Are you clear with this one? Don't get any confused. Conductance, the word itself by default means molar conductance. And now, in case strong electrolytes with a different number of ions in their molecule, how to measure the molar conductance? Conductance by default, molar conductance. Say for example, an electrolyte is providing X number of cations and Y number of anions, and the cation conductance is and the anion conductance is like this. Then what will be the conductance of that electrolyte if X is the number of cations and Y is the number of anions which are having the conductances like this? And just you remember here, this is for individual ion, they are the conductances. That means these are ionic conductances. This is for cation and it is for anion. And now when they ask for the conductance or molar conductance, both are same. And now in this case we have to consider the molar conductance of this electrolyte is nothing but the number of cations into the cationic conductance plus the number of anions into the anionic conductance, that ions present in the electrolyte solution. This is the formulation for molar conductance. And now after getting this molar conductance, just let me give one more clarity. When we are considering molar conductance, just you remember the molar conductance, literally they may provide with this word or simply they may provide conductance. Clear? And now when the ionic conductances are given in our previous sessions, already I mentioned that they are making you to confuse by giving the symbols for different conductances. They are using the same symbols. Say for example, here we are considering the cation conductance like this, but in some books or in some exam papers you find the cation conductance is nothing but lambda naught plus, and here also it is lambda naught minus. Don't get confused. When they are giving ionic conductance, simply you consider it as nothing but ionic conductance is nothing but molar conductance. This ionic conductance can also be represented like this, and this symbol actually it is related to equivalent conductance, but when simply by giving the ionic conductance, already we considered ionic only conductance when given it is molar. So by giving the ionic conductance with this symbol, you just consider it as the molar conductance. Clear? And why? Because, and here we have to discuss before entering into equivalent conductance of electrolyte. We should have another discussion. For any electrode, let me take one example. best known example, Al2SO4 thrice. This is the best one to understand the concept of equivalent and the molar conductance. In this case, the ions that are present are Al plus 3, and for this ion the conductance may be given as lambda naught A plus. It is actually the correct representation, but sometimes they are giving this as lambda naught Al plus 3. That's why I am running with both these two representations, this one and this one, because it is Al plus 3 ion conductance and it is represented ionic conductance, but the symbol is given as this. And now, and the others ion present is SO4 minus 2, and here it is lambda naught SO4 capital, it may be, or they are giving like this. But when it is given as SO4, that is sulfate ion conductance, by default you have to consider this is not equivalent, it is nothing but molar conductance. And when these two are given, now they may ask for molar conductance. This molar conductance is also known as, now just today we in this session we discussed about this limiting conductance. Limiting conductance, molar conductance or limiting molar conductance at infinite dilution is nothing but mu A naught Al2SO4 thrice is as per Kohlraasch law. Here this electrolyte is having 2 Al plus 3 ions, so we have to consider 2 lambda naught Al plus 3, and this electrolyte is having 3 SO4 minus 2 ions, and thereby it is 3 lambda naught SO4 minus 2. This is molar conductance from the ionic conductances of the ions that present in the electrolyte Al2SO4 thrice. And now coming to equivalent conductance, how to measure this equivalent conductance? And you remember, actually equivalent conductance is represented with the letter lambda, but the symbol already used for the ionic conductances, and thereby here we are not having any symbol for this total, just it is given as lambda naught Al2SO4 thrice by literally giving this equivalent conductance. In such a case, we have to find the equivalent conductance of the ions first. First we have to consider the equivalent conductance of the ions, and then the sum of the equivalent conductances of the ions present in the solution is nothing but the equivalent conductance of the electrolyte. Now how to do it? Let me discuss it. Here we are having the ionic conductances of Al plus 3 and SO4 minus 2, where we are supposed to measure the ionic conductance of equivalent conductance of electrolyte Al2SO4 thrice. Though this lambda is for equivalent, here by literally they are providing ionic conductances. So first of all we have to convert this into equivalent conductance. How to? It is for any ion equivalent conductance is nothing but the ionic conductance of that ion by the charge. Just with this formula, charge is nothing but here Z factor. Already you know, when equivalent weight is asked, molecular weight or atomic weight by Z factor. Z is charge for in case of ions. Similar manner here also, when ionic conductance, already we are discussing that when only ionic conductance is given, by default it is taken as molar conductance. So molar is related, and now that mole is related to equivalent just by Z factor as molar conductance or ionic conductance by charge. So in these two cases, when aluminum ionic conductance is given, aluminum Al plus 3 equivalent conductance, here there is no more symbol, just we have to write literally, is equal to 1 by 3 the charge into lambda naught Al plus 3. Similarly, SO4 minus 2 equivalent conductance, SO4 minus 2 equivalent conductance is 1 by 2 the charge into lambda naught SO4 minus 2. This is equivalent conductance of these two ions, just simply ionic conductance by charge. And now the equivalent conductance of aluminum sulfate at infinite dilution can be measured as the equivalent conductance of aluminum ion plus the equivalent conductance of SO4 minus 2 ion. This is equivalent conductance of aluminum sulfate. And just now we discussed, in case of molar conductance of this Al2SO4 thrice is measured as 2 into conductance of aluminum ion, ionic conductance of aluminum ion, plus 3 into conductance of sulfate ions, like this. Just you observe the difference. When ionic conductances are given, if they are supposed to calculate this equivalent conductance, first of all we have to consider, or we have to measure the equivalent conductance of individual ions, and then the sum of the equivalent conductance of the ions present in the solution is nothing but the equivalent conductance of the electrolyte. And in case if they ask for conductance, that is nothing but molar conductance, then the sum of the molar conductances of the ions present in the solution is nothing but the molar conductance. In such a case, all the ions present in that solution should be considered. All the ions, say for example aluminum, 2 ions present, that's why we are taking 2 ions conductance, and for sulfate 3 ions. Like that, this is nothing but, both these two are nothing but from Kohlrausch law. Kohlrausch law it is. Clear? Don't get confused. When ionic conductance given, number of ions, such ions present in the electrolyte, if we consider, you will get molar conductance. And if we are considering ionic conductance by charge of that ion, just you can get the equivalent conductance of the ion. And then sum of equivalent conductance of the ion is nothing but equivalent conductance of the electrolyte, and the sum of the ionic conductances along with their number is nothing but the molar conductance of the electrolyte. Clear? And now just let us write different electrolytes, few examples to make you to understand easily, when they are giving different substances. Let us write lambda naught NaCl, for example. If it is given, simply you can write for lambda naught NaCl is nothing but equivalent conductance, then lambda naught Na plus lambda naught Cl minus. And in case if it is mu naught NaCl, and you remember this can also be lambda naught M is molar conductance, it is one more symbol, lambda naught M of NaCl, then you have to go for lambda naught Na plus lambda naught Cl minus. If you observe, for monovalent electrolytes both these formulae seem to be same. But coming to the other one, lambda naught BaCl2, and here equivalent conductance is nothing but lambda naught, it is ionic conductance of Ba plus 2. So to make it into equivalent conductance, we have to consider the charge. 1 by 2 into ionic conductance of the Ba plus 2 is equivalent conductance of barium, plus lambda naught of Cl minus, just because it is of having only 1 unit charge. And now coming to mu naught of BaCl2, or it is also lambda M BaCl2. Here it is lambda naught Ba plus 2 plus here 2 ions present, that's why 2 lambda naught Cl minus. And let me write one more example. Already we wrote that Al2SO4 thrice, but one more is AlCl3. In case if it is equivalent conductance at infinite dilution of AlCl3, just we are considering the equivalent conductance of aluminum ion from its ionic conductance and the equivalent conductance of chloride ion. And now in case if it is molar conductance of AlCl3, then simply we are considering the ionic conductance of aluminum because only one ion of aluminum present, and then it is 3 chloride ion conductances because 3 chloride ions present in the electrolyte. So like that, for different electrolytes we can measure both these molar conductances as well as ionic conductances with the help of Kohlraasch law. And now when all these formulated seem to be, now after this much of discussion you may have some idea, some sort of idea to have or to apply these concepts when it is coming to numerical, how to apply these concepts, how to get the data and when they are providing. For that purpose, let us consider different models. Let me give one model. Say for example, if it is given like this: CH3COOH lambda naught, that is the conductance of, it is simply here in this case we are considering the molar conductances, unless otherwise they specifically mentioning the equivalent conductances. By default you have to consider the molar conductances. Are you clear? And now this is, we have to measure this, and it is not possible to measure with the Debye-Huckel-Onsager equation because it is weak electrolyte, but this has to be measured with the help of Kohlraasch law. As per Kohlraasch law, this is nothing but equal to lambda naught CH3COO minus plus lambda naught H plus. Clear? And now how to get these two, the ionic conductances? And for that purpose they are providing different electrolytes. In any electrolyte, as per Kohlraasch law, the conductance is nothing but the sum of the conductances of the individual ions. So in this one, these two ions present, the sum of these conductances of these two ions is equal to this. And now to get these two information, they are not directly giving these two, indirectly they are providing like this: lambda naught CH3COONA, that is sodium salt which is completely dissolved, that is nothing but which is soluble salt, completely dissociate in water. It is given as X, for example. And now one more data is C, that is a lambda naught of HCl is provided to you as Y. And one more data what they are providing is lambda naught NaCl is given as Z. And now they ask to find the conductivity of the conductance of the weak electrolyte acetic acid at infinite dilution. In such a case, what we have to do? First, let us consider this lambda naught CH3COONA. This means it is of having lambda naught CH3COO minus plus lambda naught Na plus conductance. The sum of these two is the conductance of this electrolyte. Clear? And now it is given as X. And now in this case lambda naught HCl, it is given as lambda naught H plus plus lambda naught Cl minus. The sum is nothing but now as per the given data is equal to Y. And now one more, that is lambda naught NaCl. And what it is? It is nothing but lambda naught Na plus plus lambda naught Cl minus, where the sum it is nothing but equal to Z as per the given data. And now to get these two ions, what we have to do with these three data? Just to observe, we require this ion but not this one, and we require, in this case we require this one but not this. So to get these two required conditions, we have to add these two. But when we are adding these two, automatically we are adding these two also. We are considering these two also, which are not required. For that purpose, when these two added, the not required condition is also there. But these two combination is also given here. So just by adding these two and then by subtracting this value, that means x plus y minus z, you will get lambda naught CH3 COOH from these electrolytes. Clear? Like that you have to solve. You have to apply. Simply you can apply this concept, but the data what they are providing in different measurements to make you in a hurry-burry when you are writing the examination, the data sometimes make you confused. So for that purpose, let me give some numericals related to this and try on your own. And in the next session, I will discuss that. I am giving the data. Just you try to note it down. Different models. And model 1. It is here they are providing the conductances of the ions. Yes. The molar conductances of bivalent. Bivalent means just it is nothing but the charges are 2, plus 2 or minus 2. Bivalent electrolyte or 57 and 70. This is model 1 and 73 ohm inverse mole inverse centimeter square respectively. Then calculate lambda infinite or lambda naught, that is the conductance at infinite dilution of that electrolyte. Try your own. It is simple, very basic level question. And now let me go for model 2. In this model here, what they are giving is calculate lambda naught CH3COOH by using the appropriate molar conductances provided. Here they are giving some molar conductances of few electrolytes at 25 degrees centigrade in water. They are lambda naught KCl is given as 149.9 ohm inverse mole inverse centimeter square. And one more data, that is lambda naught NaCl is given as 126.5. And one more is lambda naught KNO3 and it is 145. And then it is lambda naught HCl which is given as 426.2 ohm inverse mole inverse centimeter, and lambda naught CH3COONA is 91 ohm inverse mole inverse centimeter square. And this is the second model you have to answer. Note it down and then try it on your own. And one more model is here. It is nothing but the equivalent conductances or the conductances of different electrolytes are provided, and they are asked for the conductance of a new one like this. Model 3. Here, calculate equivalent conductance of NH4Cl at infinite dilution at infinite dilution from conductance of BaOH twice given as 228.8 ohm inverse mole inverse centimeter square, and it is lambda naught BaCl2 120.3 and lambda naught NH4Cl, that is nothing but 129.8. This is model 3. And coming to the last one, that is model 4. Here, if they are giving, if lambda naught NaCl and KCl are, lambda naught NaCl and lambda naught KCl are 126.5 and 149.9 respectively, ohm inverse, mole inverse, centimeter square respectively, and the ionic conductance of Na plus is 50.1 ohm inverse mole inverse centimeter square at infinite dilution. Then calculate the ionic conductance of K plus at infinite dilution. These are different model questions that will be covered in Kohlraaschla up to discussed part. In the next session, we will discuss about this application in some more calculations. Okay. So by next session, you have to solve this. I will provide the solution we will discuss in the next session, but it is better to try on your own. Clear? Thank you.